Hello world, it is Friday, December 2nd, 2011. Hope everybody's having a fantastic week so far. Hope everybody had a great week so far, sorry. It's been a while since I've done a Friday video. Extreme long while, actually, now that I think about it, but besides the point. So today I'm going to do, before I get started, sorry about this, I'm sorry I haven't posted a video in probably almost 2 weeks. Life's been kind of crazy, life's been kind of hectic, you know, things are sort of winding down here at stores, finals are coming up. So yeah, that's why I really haven't had the chance to post a video up. So now I have a chance to post a video up really quick. So today I'm going to do my list of 5. I know in my last video I said I was going to do my list of my 5 favorite vampires. I decided to edit that slightly to my 5 favorite vampire movies. And just so you guys know, to be safe, none of the Twilight movies are in there. So you're all good. So let's get started. So number 5 of my favorite vampire movies is Queen of the Damned. Yeah, as a book to movie adaptation, Queen of the Damned is probably one of the worst. I've read almost all of the Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles books, and they completely ruined Queen of the Damned in terms of making it transitioning from a book to a movie. It's horrible. It's probably one of the worst jobs they can do with it. But as a vampire movie, it really, really works. You know, vampires have fangs, vampires are dark, brooding, sexual, dangerous, you know, and it brings that out to its fullest effect in this movie. And plus it has a really awesome soundtrack too that really makes it feel, you know, like a vampire movie, which is really awesome as well, and I love how they did that. Number 4 of my favorite vampire movie is Bram Stoker's Dracula. Not the original with Bela Lugosi, excuse me. Alright, sorry about that. Not the original one with Bela Lugosi, but the 90s version that was directed by Francis Ford Coppola and starring Gary Oldman as the titular character. The film kind of really overplays and really overuses to make the film so great as a vampire movie, is that the vampire, the nature of the vampire is a giant walking sexual metaphor. And the whole act of drawing blood and you know, vampires sucking blood from its victims is supposed to have a sexual connotation, sexual undertone to it. And here in this movie, they really play that out. The vampire is, at its core, a very dangerous sexual being. And of course, it has a really fantastic performance by Gary Oldman, you know. You can't really expect anything less from Gary Oldman. And he does a fantastic job in this movie as Dracula, playing Dracula as like the old man, as the young, dark, handsome prince, as like different sort of monsters and stuff like that. He does a really fantastic job, and he really sells the part as Dracula. Now, number 3 is interesting. Number 3 is sort of tied really quick. Number 3 is Let the Right One In / Let Me In. This is based off a Swedish novel. The 2 movies are based off a Swedish novel by John, I know I'm going to fuck this name up, and I apologize, John Ajvide Lindqvist. I think I did that okay. If not, you can, you know, yell at me in the comment section. The book is about the movie is the 2 movies. Let the Right One In is the Swedish version, and Let Me In is the American version. But the reason why I tie them together because the films are equally good. I've never said that before in terms of an American remake of a really good foreign film. I've really always usually had some form of disdain for it. But here they do a really fantastic job, and really it's just as good as Let the Right One In my opinion. So they both tell the same story about how Oscar, a 12-year-old boy, falls in love with a 12-year-old girl, depending, you know, named Ellie. And Ellie happens to also be a vampire. And the book and the 2 movies center around the relationships throughout. So it's much more compelling, in my opinion, it's a really much more compelling, interesting kind of romance and relationship than Edward and Bella from Twilight. Honestly, this tops it all, and it's fantastic to see how the movies are just really good because they also have, in comparison to Twilight, solid acting, like really, really good acting. In both the Swedish films and the American films, all the actors, especially the young ones, the ones that play Oscar and Ellie, or in the case of Let Me In, Abby and whatever the hell the kid's name is, I can't remember right now, what they named him in the American version. They all do such a fantastic job with such complex roles, and it's like, not only is it one of the best these 2 movies are one of the best vampire films, but it's definitely one of the best acted movies, especially in part of the 2 young leads who do a really fantastic job holding the film, and that's a huge burden. and they really pulled that off. and that's one of the things that makes the vampire film so great. Now, number 2 in terms of my favorite vampire movie is Underworld. Underworld was sort of my introduction into the vampire movie watching. Although I read all the Anne Rice books beforehand, Underworld was really like my first vampire movie, my first exposure into vampires. And this is really why I kind of, when I think of vampires, one of the things I think about, other than how Anne Rice characterized vampires, but how Underworld characterized vampires as, sleek, sexy, badass, action-packed, and it's just they're really good action movies. What really makes Underworld so fascinating, so interesting to watch, what makes me keep going to Underworld movies. A lot of people think the Underworld movies are shit. I disagree. I love the Underworld movies. And one of the things that really holds it together is the fact that it has such a fantastic mythology to it. Like a fantastic history, a fantastic story to the whole origins of the vampires and the Lycans, aka werewolves. And one of the things that really holds that film series together is such a fantastic mythology that they use, a really deep mythology that really is the center of everything in these movies, and it really helps gravitate the story. It really makes the story feel more grounded, more compact, more compelling. That there's this mythology and this backstory they spent a lot of this time developing. They even made a prequel out of it, which was the 3rd movie in the Underworld series. So, now, number 1, in terms of my favorite vampire film of all time, it's the other film that was based off an Anne Rice book, and that was Interview with the Vampire. Or The Vampire Chronicles, Interview with the Vampire, however you want to call it. Based on Anne Rice's first book, and the first book in the Vampire Chronicles series, it's about how Louis, a vampire who, the book was written in the 1970s, and how he's been alive for almost 200 years. The details of his life, from his maker, Lestat, from his creation by his maker, Lestat, to the modern day. And the movie is really fantastic. I mean, it has really excellent actors. This movie is made in the 90s, and it has Brad Pitt as Louis. It has Tom Cruise as Lestat, who steals the show over and over again as Lestat. And Lestat, one of my favorite literary characters of all time. He's just so fantastic. So he's what I think of when I think of vampires. I think of Lestat de Liancourt. He's just so fantastic as a vampire. And Tom Cruise, yes, is he batshit? Absolutely. But he does such a fantastic job as Lestat. Fantastic job. He almost steals the show. And you also have Antonio Banderas as Armand, Christian Slater as the reporter, and just a whole bunch of other really great actors that really make this film so solid and so really good. And as a book-to-movie adaptation, it's also really good. Yes, they do change a few things like they always do when it comes to movies, from book to movies, but it's still really well done, and it's still really acceptable changes. Like in the book, for example, in the movie, Louis is mourning for the loss of his wife and child. And that's why he's always hating life. That's why he's going out seeking death in the beginning. But in the books, he's actually mourning the death of his brother, who he felt had, whose brother died when they were in the middle of a heated argument. He didn't kill his brother, but his brother tripped over a set of stairs and killed him, and he died. And so Louis felt the guilt that he felt like he killed his brother. So that's why he's wandering around seeking death. So there's those kind of changes, but they both make sense, and they're both really acceptable changes. And like I said, the film as itself is really, really good, and really, really excellent acting. And also Kirsten Dunst, I forgot, Kirsten Dunst, that's Claudia, who also steals the show. Almost steals the show from Tom Cruise, but Tom Cruise goes no, I am the vampire Lestat. I will be the center of this. I will be the center of the stage no matter how the fuck I want it. And that's Lestat. Always has to be the center of attention, and Tom Cruise doesn't. So, yep, that's pretty much it. So to recap, my 5 favorite vampire films are Queen of the Damned, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Let Me In / Let the Right One In, Underworld, and Interview with a Vampire. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. And yeah, my next video, I'm thinking of doing the 2011 YouTube survey. I haven't gotten around the chance to do that yet. Hopefully, I might not be able to post videos for a while up until finals are done. But if I get the chance, I will definitely try to do the 2011 YouTube survey. Alright, that's pretty much it for today, guys, and I will talk to you later. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Alright, peace.